languages, English and German. Today I'd like to talk about a very dear subject of mine. It's very close to my heart. I'm very passionate about it. It's about Tudors and the Tudor dynasty, and today I will talk about Henry's second wife, Anne Boleyn. But it's not even that important that she was his second wife. The main important thing is that she was one of the main characters who brought the Protestant religion to English shores. She was the daughter of Thomas Boleyn and Elizabeth Howard. She would spend her childhood at Bleakling Hall before she was sent to France to be a companion to Henry's little sister, who was Queen of France at the moment. During her time in France, she established many connections whilst there. By the time she came back to England, she was a patron of arts like Henry was. She could sing, she could dance, and she also had a very flamboyant style. She also brought the fashion, the French fashion, to English court. She had many admirers. Some of them would be Henry Percy and Thomas Wyatt. She almost married Thomas Wyatt, but it was stopped by Cardinal Wolsey at the order of Henry VIII. In 1522, her sister Mary Boleyn was already Henry's mistress, and she introduced them. By that time, a love affair started. Henry was very fond of her beauty and her being so artsy. They started to exchange letters. One of them saying that, from Henry saying, "If you give yourself up, heart, body and soul to me, I will take you for my only mistress, rejecting from thought and affection all others save yourself to serve only you." Anne would reject Henry's at first, saying that if you give yourself up, heart, and that's not what she said. I'm sorry. She said that your wife I cannot be, both in respect of mine and own unworthiness, and also because you already have a queen. I mistress I will not be. From this point, the stage is already set. With Catherine, because Catherine couldn't provide a male heir, Henry started to be obsessed with having a male heir. This will be later known as King's Great Matter. The Pope's unwillingness to grant a divorce and Henry's new fond love of Anne would lead England to where it is today somehow. In 1527, Henry attempted to send a petition to the Pope granting for a divorce. He even found something in the Bible, in Leviticus, saying that if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing, they shall be childless. Even with this evidence, the Pope, Clement VII, will not grant a divorce. Why is that? Because Charles VII, by that time, he was the prisoner of Charles V, one of the most powerful people in Europe at the time, just because he was the emperor of Holy Roman Empire. But that's not even the main important thing. The important thing is it's that Charles was Catherine's nephew. Of course, he would not grant a divorce because we're talking here about family. Henry started to look for a solution, and it would drag Thomas Cromwell and Thomas Cranmer to it. Pope would try to drag out the discussion negotiations in the hope that the political situation would change, with either Charles's control over ending to Henry to grow tired and remain married to Catherine. He did not grow tired. He became more obsessed and frustrated. This is when Anne enters the stage and shows him The Obedience of a Christian Man by William Tyndale. And that book says that the Pope's name, the Pope title, does not appear in the Bible, but the King's title is everywhere. So he should be the one who will make a decision if he divorces her or not. And so he did. In 1st of January, Henry and Anne marry in secret. And this would grant them the solution because Henry, a few years later, will call himself the head of the church. At the beginning, Anne did not want to lay with him, but when she did want to do that, she fell pregnant by 1532. And this would apply more pressure on Henry's taking a decision, because a child born out of wedlock would be a bastard. After 7 years of courtship and changings, the art of restraint of appeals is being established. This will deprive the Pope power to judge on marital affairs with England, and would give Cranmer, who was the Archbishop of Canterbury, he would give Cranmer the authority to declare King's union to Catherine null and void. A few months later, Elizabeth's been born. She was the daughter of Anne and Henry, obviously, but she would later be known as Elizabeth I of England. I'm pretty sure that everybody knows her. But the fact that Anne gave birth to a girl would upset Henry a lot, and he would start committing adultery again. But the difference between Anne and Catherine is that Catherine didn't care about it and tried to move past that idea, but Anne was infuriated. They will try again for a male heir. She would be pregnant two times more, but both pregnancies will end up in miscarriages, but they were both boys. This will lead to Henry trying to get rid of her. She will try to execute her. So he started to try her. She was arrested by charges of incest, adultery, plotting, regicide, and bewitching the king, as were her brother, George Boleyn, Henry Norris, Francis Weston, and William Brenton. Under the Tudor law, the accused was presumed guilty until proven innocent, and the charges against them were not always as clear. This meant that Anne and the men arrested would struggle to defend themselves. Several accused were tortured into false confessions that could be used to find Anne guilty. It is presumed that Henry summoned for the hangman of Calais, probably before she was even found guilty. She was executed on the 19th of May 1536, and in the final hours she even joked about it, saying that I hear the executioner was very good, and I have a little neck. Her kirtle was crimson and the color of martyrdom, and her hood was the traditional English gable. As she ascended to the scaffold, she made a speech to those present, saying, "Good Christian people, I have not come here to preach a sermon, I've come here to die. For according to the law and by the law, and I am judged to die, therefore I will speak nothing against it. But I pray God save the king and send him a long reign over you." She was buried at Chapel St. Peter ad Vincula. Anne was convicted by a court of her enemies, not of crimes of adultery, but the crime of not having a son and being angry at her husband's infidelity. Their relationship, which took 7 years to make happen, would shatter only 3 years of marriage. After 3 years of marriage, a relationship built on passion would burn out as quickly as it started. Henry would go and marry Jane Seymour, one of Anne's ladies in waiting, only 11 days after she was beheaded. Thank you.
Și noi mulțumim, felicitări. Dacă sunt întrebări, mulțumim. Succes mai departe!